Right then, here we go. Welcome to Matchday Live. Tuesday evening here at Elland Road. Leeds United looking for another 3 points at the Fortress, taking on a promotion rival in Middlesbrough. It's a potential Christmas cracker on the way. This game is available in selected territories. Head to the LUTV website to get your match day pass. We are less than half an hour away from kickoff. Joining me is a man with a northeast twang, but make no mistake, he knows who he's supporting. He knows where his bread's buttered. Michael Bridges, former Leeds United striker, with us here in the studio. This is going to be a great game, isn't it?
It certainly is. Two very attractive teams that play attacking football. You've said it, two teams that are going to be, title contenders, promotion contenders, and Leeds United. We're at home. Middlesbrough coming on the road to try and upset the party like they did in the League Cup this season, so we owe them one from that, Rich. I'm expecting just a cracking game all round, and hopefully Leeds United, we're switched on, we're professional, the attitude is set, and we continue that run of form that we've shown at home this season so far. Yeah,
and we're in that busy period, aren't we, without being cliched towards Christmas. And you can forget your John Lewis advert, you're hearing Mariah Carey for the first time, your Black Friday sales. When you see the Christmas presents in the LUTV studio, Bridget, that's when you know we're in the thick of it for Christmas.
I just want to know which one's mine.
I can't promise you there's anything in those. There might be props, but we can open them afterwards, Bridget.
We'll have a look.
Don't want to ruin the magic. We can open them afterwards. This does have the potential to be a really great game as well, because Middlesbrough are coming into this, albeit inconsistent in some ways, but they've been scoring bucket loads of goals. They've had a few wins in the last, 4 out of the last 6. You'd hope they'd come here and think, well, we're going to have a go and we're going to see if we can take some points here, and that will make for a good game.
Well, I hope they do, because that makes it going to be an expansive game. I think we play better when we play teams like that. Middlesbrough, the start of the season, they were very up and down. One win, one loss, one draw. You never knew what you were going to get, but they created a lot of chances. And that was a moment when it clicked. They won a game with 4 goals scored, then they won a game with 5 goals scored, and then 6 goals. They've had a draw and a loss to Blackburn. So, they're coming into this with a rich vein of form goal-scoring wise, but they do like to concede a few goals. So when they come here to play and have an expansive game, our lads getting off the bus, nice and relaxed there, up for the atmosphere here at Elland Road, under the floodlights, and I'm sure they'll be relishing the challenge. And I think the key battles for me is going to be our fullbacks against their wingers. Are the wingers going to come and drop in and help the fullbacks of Middlesbrough, or are they going to play a cat and mouse game with Sammy Byram and Max Vober, who obviously both players are coming in when you go through the lineups? So that's the key battle in the wide areas, I think, for both sets of players, offensively and defensively. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, you've touched on the lineup there, and the players coming in earlier. Sam Byram in for Jaden Bogle, as you said. He's not made it because of injury. Max Vober, we know Junior Firpo is going to be out for several weeks now.
Nasty hamstring,
Yeah, it's going to be 2025 before we see him playing again. And then it's Nonto who gets the nod over Solomon. We've talked in great detail, as I'm sure all Leeds fans have, about those riches of talent out on the wide berths. Who's going to get those slots tonight? Tonight it's Dan James and Willie Nonto. And then Mateo Joseph gets a start up front for Joel Piroux. So he's starting at number 9. 4 changes tonight, 2 enforced, I guess. A couple of choices then from Daniel Farke. In terms of those offensive ones from the winger point of view and the number 9, did you expect to see changes?
I'll tell you what, it's nice options for Daniel Farke to have at his disposal. To make changes like that, it doesn't scare me. I think it's quite refreshing, and it's such a short turnaround from the weekend's match. I know we had the earlier kick-off on the Saturday going into this game. Derby really never threatened anything. We were absolutely magnificent that game, the way we controlled it, took our chances and opportunities. So the quick turnaround, what we don't have the luxury of seeing, Rich, is the players that are in there giving the advice to the fitness coaches, the monitoring system of how much distance the lads have covered, are they feeling underdone, a few little niggles from the weekend. So they could have come into effect, which they have done with Firpo getting the hamstring injury. Whereas with Joseph and Nonto, it could just be that he thinks, you know what it is, something different tonight. Joseph will threaten him behind more. He's going to make better runs, I feel, than Joel Piroux. Joel Piroux is definitely a better goal scorer. He's a natural finisher. And Willie Nonto, it's like for like. You know what you get. And I think Willie will be really gutted that he missed out at the weekend. Daniel Farke had a look at that. He'll have seen his attitude in the last few matches, and he said, go and prove me wrong. Get yourself in the starting lineup tonight and go and get a goal.
And we talk about the frequency of games, like you're saying, 3 in the space of a week. Again, what Leeds have done brilliantly, for all the brilliant things they've done this season, what they haven't done is won 3 games in a row. That's how difficult it is to do, but maybe getting over this hurdle tonight, having players who are fresh that might want to come in then at the weekend as well, to do that in such a short period of time is not easy to do. It's natural to see a bit of squad rotation and using that. Of course, we know that Ethan Ampadu is back on the bench now as well. So that bench looks, and it did at the weekend, looks really strong, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And what I always remember when I was playing, Rich, when you were beaten by a team, as Middlesbrough did here in the League Cup that I alluded to, you've got a chance to redeem yourself and rectify that, because I've got to say that occasion, that League Cup match, we were dreadful. There's no doubt about it. We were still in a little bit of transition with players coming and going. Daniel Farke was trying a few things out. However, that's inexcusable. So again, that's something as a player that I want to put right in the next match, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how many of the lads are focused like that I've got a bit of a bee in their bonnet and go, we want to prove you. You don't come here and dictate the style of play at Leeds United.
Yeah, I just in preparation for tonight, went back and looked at those highlights from earlier in the season. Wasn't the best 3.5 minutes of midday, I'll be honest with you. But that's long gone now. OK, let's get into it then tonight and hear from one of these starting Leeds United 11, a player who put in a cracking cross for Max Verber to get that second important goal against Derby at the weekend. Here's the thoughts of Leeds United's Brendan Aronson.
Well, Brendan, this has the look of a big game here at Elland Road tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Look, Middlesbrough is a great team. You know, they've been playing at a high level at the moment, so we got to be ready to go. And yeah, I think we are.
The form here has been good. Is the aim to keep that run going?
100%. You know, we've been defending really well at home. I think we've had a lot of shutouts, and we've been playing at a high level at home. And I think the fans are a big part of that. They've been helping us a ton. So we just got to stay at this level, keep pushing like this, and yeah, it's going really well at the moment.
We've seen a lot of sides come here and defend really deep so far this season. Mm-hmm. Is there any chance there might be something a little bit different that you have to encounter this evening?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because, you know, a lot of teams you think are going to come out and play, but, you know, they sit back, you know. But, I mean, it's a compliment to us. They know how tough it is to come here and get results, so that's the way they think they can get it. So I think for us, it's just going out there and play like we normally do, you know, being online at all times, being focused and being, ready for every action.
Yeah, and Brendan Aronson there, talking about, you know, another win at the weekend for Leeds here at Elland Road, where they've been so strong, 7 wins in a row now. And that game against Derby, it was never in doubt, really, was it? Leeds by far the better team. Even the Derby manager saying, you know, Leeds were a class above in the end. 2-0, could have been more.
Well, I had a good chat with Paul Warren before kick-off, and he was chatting. I said, how are you being so good at set plays? Because 50% of their goals came from set plays. He said, it's something we work on. Michael, he said, at the end of the day, we are not going to come here and compete in a possession-based game against Leeds United. We don't have that against many teams.
It's an exciting one tonight. It should be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully, anyway, if anything like the last games are to go on. Last season, 3-2 here, 4-3 there. I mean, you know, this game from last season was a bizarre game. You know, Middlesbrough taking the lead, but in the end it was a really important win for Leeds on that day.
It certainly was. I mean, it wasn't a comfortable win, by the way. I was a bit nervous towards the end as well of the game. It wasn't the best for the heart, but what we did, we showed good resolve to get back into this game. And it's not often you see Danny James score with his head neither out the back post, but it was just an end-to-end game. And there's a player for Middlesbrough in Latte Lath who got 2 goals in this game. He's been a thorn in our side over the last few matches. So again, Tony Dorigo alluded to him. He was out early on in this season, but he's in tonight. We've got to make sure that we contain this guy, because at the other end of the field, we're going to score goals. We can score goals like we did. And these games are always really, really good encounters, because like you said, Rich, both teams want to come out and perform. And Michael Carrick, you know, he's got an attacking-minded coach. They want the goals, as they've shown that they can do. So if we're not at our best defensively, we will get exploited by this team. So we've got to be switched on in all moments of the game. It's not going to be like the Derby game at the weekend where it was all plain sailing. It was just nice and easy. This is going to be a tough night.
You mentioned Latte Lath there. I think he's now on 7 goals, 2 assists for the season. You know, he's a real danger man, as he proved against us last season. You're a striker. Presumably with these things, you think, yeah, fancy this. Scored a few against them last season. Let's have it.
Yeah, it's very strange. You know, there's grounds that I used to go to where used to just feel like you couldn't miss. Now, Goodison Park was one for me whenever I played Everton, whether it was with Leeds United, whether it was Sunderland. You felt you could score. So I'm hoping that Latte Lath hadn't got that kind of feeling tonight, because that's what Elland Road does for him. So I'm hoping I'm not putting the doubters on it, but that's the type of ground he'll be up for this one, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, Pascal Strout and Joe Rodon, they cannot give him any opportunities because he's a goal scorer, he's a good player, but we've got better players all around.
Yeah, and you just hope there's going to be lots of goals in the game as well. It's going to be a fun one. I mean, to be fair,
I can't go through another game like that, Rich. I can't.
To be fair, if you take that 3-2 and then we beat them 4-3 away from home as well, they obviously did us 3-0 here. I mean, to be fair to them, they kept their part of the bargain in that League Cup game. We just didn't do our part, did we?
We didn't turn up.
We didn't turn up.
When we turn up for the league games, it's important.
But it's important on those ones. Okay, we are closing in on kickoff. And of course, we're getting closer to Christmas, as you can see here in the studio, and you'll be getting all your preparations ready. So what better than a bit of festive fun with our Leeds United stars? Here's what happens when you take one Leeds United star and ask them to a Christmas card at random of another couple of Leeds United stars. Here's Al Tanaka.
He's a grunter. Here's some ballon.
And what they do?
Just sledding.
Sledding.
Yeah. It's too difficult.
Thank God for footballer.
Yeah, that is not the reason Al Tanaka is the Player of the Month again, but showing off some silky skills. Hey, it's Christmas time. Barrowman onto on a sledge at Elland Road.
Yeah.
You mentioned Elland Road earlier, right at the start of this, and actually, the crowd is going to play a big part. I was talking about the expectancy you can feel around the ground tonight, because in some games like the one against
Rich,
Derby,
I can tell by the traffic.
yeah, it's just coming in.
I just got in before kick-off.
But if you take a game like the one against Derby, it was job done, but it didn't feel like there was much jeopardy. No. Tonight, it feels a bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely different tonight, because obviously the fans know it's a close club, title contenders challenging for the playoffs. So the fans know that the Derby one, like you say, there was that atmosphere of we're here to win. It should be an easy one tonight. Obviously, they know Middlesbrough scored a lot of goals. There's that tension, that atmosphere, and I think Daniel Farke will make sure that the players know how important this is, but he also know how important. He'll have told the players, listen, let's use Elland Road and the fans to our advantage tonight, and let's go out and get the job done.
Yeah, let's hear from the manager, Daniel Farke, who's been talking very similarly to what you're suggesting we should do tonight. Yes, Middlesbrough are a threat, but says Leeds should be full of confidence here on home soil.
Our wingers all alone won't be able to win the game, and their wingers more or less the same. It's always important that you